Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Cooper Barnes here, and yet again today we're doing another tank review in War Thunder. This is one of my favorite games. I really hope that these videos can hit so that we can make more videos on this game, because I really want to help people with their purchasing in this game, because this game can be quite tricky, which is why we are here today with the Object 120. So we do have a T55 AM1 over here, which we will be doing in another video, but today we're going to be talking about the Object 120, and this thing's a beast. Let me just tell you that. This thing is just like the Leopard, but at a lower tier of 7.7 compared to 9.0. So a complete tier and a half between them. I mean, not a tier and a half, but a tier 1.2 pretty much, arguably, between them. So this thing will never really run into a Leopard on a normal battle, which is why we're going to go ahead and take, we're going to go ahead and change this to, I'm just going to go ahead and change it to this. I do have a better tank than that, but I'm not going to, we're not going to be using them, so I'm just going to be using this. So we get a solid 7.7 game mode. So first, before we do this, let's go ahead and go into the, armor. So the armor on this tank, it's a glass cannon, just like I said. But you get a 152 millimeter heat FS, which is pretty much enough that you can lob crappy shells and kill people with no problem. And as well as long as this cannon is, it has really good accuracy and a super fast, fire. So So in other words, that when you shoot this, the bullet's going to travel faster than most cannons in the game because it's longer, it's going to have better accuracy. But let's say another object shoots you. Let's just say he shoots you here, for instance. Well, that would generally be a dead shot, because if you kill the driver, which we did do in that shot, but generally they'll be shooting this because it's a premium tank and you get everything. So if you're shot in your front, you're pretty much dead. Because unless they really get your engine, you're not going to survive. So really don't expose yourself at all, which is really hard to do with this tank, because this tank is really odd. They decided to put the cannon in the back, and in my opinion is, I kind of think that if they weren't going to make this armor even reliable, I get this is 480 millimeters of penetration at 7.7, which is unbelievable. But let's go ahead and let's take this to Germany, and let's put this at tier 3, and let's get a Panzer. Let's see if we can get a Panzer 4. I don't know. Maybe it's rank 2. Panzer 4 F1. I'm trying to find the one that has a bigger cannon. Let's get a Panzer 3. You see this? A Panzer 3 can pin that. And the Panzer 3 only has 106 millimeters of armor penetration with only I believe a 50 millimeter, and he can still pin this if he's at a right angle. So I mean, he can pin your cheeks of your turret, which is going to ultimately kill your crew. And also, when you aim at these guys, always aim for the left side if you can. If you want a good aim, just aim kind of like right there. That's going to put you a shell right into there. It should break the gun if you have APFSDS or Heat FS, but this is a really small shell. If you want an easy kill, this thing does not have a blowout panel because it's not a high tier tank. So you can basically shoot and hit the ammo, and it's history. So just remember that. Now that shot didn't, but from the side it will. Also, this thing has an autoloader, very similar to the IS-7, which I don't have. But the autoloader basically makes it so no matter how bad your crew is, how many crew members you're missing, the fire rate of reloading will always be the same unless you're out of ammo. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the X-ray. I just want to show you this real quick. Sorry if this is being kind of annoying. I'm not trying to take too much time. So you have the engine right here, kind of I'd say similar design to the Merkava. Which I don't have either, but I do hope of doing a video of in the future, is they decided to put the engine in the front. Now for the Merkava, the engine is actually more in the front, and the driver is back farther. But this is supposed to help with a shell coming in here and killing the crew, well, somewhat. But they decided to put the driver beside the engine, which he's going to be really toasty if you ask me. I don't know if this is a 100% realistic design or not, because I find it hard to believe that an engine with bees is sitting there. It'd have to be in between some steel barrier. I doubt that there'd just be an exposed steaming hot engine, unless it's a diesel. If it's diesel, which it is, it's cooler. So if this was a gas turbine, that would not work. So keep it that way. So there is the X-ray. Some of y'all wanted to know that. I do not know what those are. I know those are actually charges, but at the same time, I don't know how you're supposed to get them up to the cannon. Looks like they're like down here in the hole, so you'd have to have someone move, go down there and grab them, and then bring them back up. So I don't know if that will interfere with your firing time or not, but most likely it will. So the thing is we need to go ahead and go to a match here. Hopefully we can get one pretty quickly. If we don't, I will cut the feed. Okay, there we go, perfect. So the thing is about this game is I will apologize. I would try not to speak much in the video of the gameplay, because for some reason my microphone is not doing real well in this game, because I basically had a factory reset my PC because of some bugs. And when I did do this, I lost my OBS and everything. I'm just using the Windows recorder, which explains the FPS drops and stuff like that if you see it in the video, as well as the large file size. So if you do notice something odd about the video or the previous video, please just understand it's because I have not downloaded all the software yet. I'm looking forward to, but we don't have it yet. So I'm really going to try to do a battle of this. If this is a good battle, we'll go on. If we do die early, I will try to cut it out and we'll put in another one. But let's go ahead and go on in. So we're going to bring, I'd say around, we should bring more than that. I'm going to say let's bring 8 APFS DS 152mm. Though this thing generally doesn't kill in one shot, surprisingly for 152mm. Because it doesn't have the best splash, like when it hits. When it penetrates, it doesn't have the best like shrapnel effect. But this guy right here, it's a monster. The only problem is that these, if they get hit, they detonate real easily, so you kind of want to watch out for that. Also, I think they're the ones that are don't quote me by this, but I believe they're the ones that are the fuses, so if they get shot, they will detonate. So I'm going to try to be quiet now, because we're in the game. I don't believe you can hear me because of the in-game audio, so I'm going to try to be quiet for a majority of this. I might talk every once in a while, but yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. Alright everyone, we're back in the second game. Hopefully this one will be better. I did get shot right off the bat by a BMP. I don't know if you can hear this or not. I'm going to get closer to the microphone. Hopefully this is not too loud, but I'm going to repeat what I said. I basically was killed by a BMP by playing too aggressive. That is why you don't want to play super aggressive with this tank. It has no armor. Any missile that hits you anywhere is going to kill you, so keep that in mind. You kind of want to snipe. Now, doing a little bit of aggressive play if you have a backup tank is not bad for this tank. You just need to understand that if you're going to rush one person, rush one individual. Don't rush 3 or 4 tanks, because you don't have the reload to do that. Hopefully, this will be a better battle. I'm going to try to be a little bit more cautious and a little bit more slow on this. I'm generally not going to try to go for the tanks I know they can fire the AGTMs, because that's a death sentence. So let's go ahead and get in here. Okay guys, I'm going to try to go here to the right of the village, and we're going to see if there is someone here we can snipe at. The problem is we're going to have this guy right here, which we cannot really deal with real well. We also need to make sure that there's not someone like that Centurion that's going to take us out really easily. We're going to plan on trying to take some cover behind this house here until that Centurion is dead. When he is dead, I'll go for that IS-4, which if he does come out properly, he will be right here, which we can pump him full of this APFSD shell that's not going to care about his armor. I do not know if that Centurion has just died. I did not look at the map. Hopefully he did. The reason why I'm going to cut my mic off every once in a while is I don't want you to be annoyed by the keyboard, because I know that can be really annoying sometimes when you want to watch something. So I'm going to say this right off the bat. I'm not a pro player at this game. Far from it. I'm really just trying to give you my personal opinion. As an average player, should you buy it? Is it worth the money, which didn't pay for, but is it worth it? So I would say, well, I'm going to get to the conclusion at the end, which is going to be really, really easy to understand. If it's not easy, put it in the comments, and I will try my best to write it out physically to you, and hopefully I can help you, because I do not want you to spend your money wrongly in this game. I want you to get the right vehicle that you want, not the vehicle that someone is trying to force you to buy, or maybe you just don't understand it. So let's go ahead and get into it. It's a T-55 AM1 right there. We came really close to getting one-shotted. It's an IS-4M. That was stupid of me. I could have fired right there, but I didn't. That is the one downside about this tank that really makes... I've triggered a lot using this tank, to be honest, and if you're someone who triggers easy, I would not recommend getting this. The armor is not useful. You get shot once, you're dead, and even if you're in a down tier or an up tier, you're still going to get the living snot beat out of you. So we do have a backup. I'm going to use it because I don't want to go to another battle. But now that we do know where the IS-6 is, or sorry, excuse me, the IS-4, I'm going to go over here and we're going to snipe him. I think he's already died, so I think he has that T-55 AM over there. I'm not sure if he's died yet or not. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to see if I can pump him full of his APFSDS, if you know what I mean. Hopefully we can. I don't know if we can or not, because it depends if he is still there or not. Hopefully he doesn't find us. It's really sad when you play with this tank, because most of the battles you play are up tiers, I've noticed, to the T-55 AM1, and there's not really much you can do with it. Ah, shot too early. This thing is good though for shooting down planes. Good he didn't have his bomb. Okay, so I'm going to try to go over here and we're going to try to get a good sight on B. I'm hoping we can kill at least one person. Again, I'm not a pro player at this. I'm not going to play like a pro player. I could put in a complication of me getting kills, but I don't want you to just think, oh, this tank is amazing just because of me. I want you to understand my play style. I don't know why I didn't shoot earlier. It's really stupid of me. I'm not used to playing with this 150mm. I usually play with generally World War II tanks, and you have to aim a little bit better. Hopefully this guy doesn't have a good aim right here. I'm going to try to peek and see. He's probably spotted me on the map. Yep. Artillery. Okay, I see you. That is the only downside I noticed about this tank, is you really can't use it. It's not really that great for going into the map. So if you're someone who really wants to, you know, kind of flank into the map and get kills, I would never recommend this vehicle, because it's not good for that. I'm more of a player who likes to do this, which is why this happened, but it's really a tank that's meant for you to kind of come out here and snipe and get these guys over here, and come out here and get these guys over here. Going in with a tank that has no armor is really stupid. It's kind of like the Leopard. You know, you have to outsmart your enemy, which makes you a better player overall. So we're going to go ahead and leave. I'm going to give you my full opinion of the tank. I'm not sponsored or anything, so this is a completely unbiased opinion, and I'm going to go for, you know, should I think you buy something else. So let's go ahead and get to it. So let's go ahead and turn that X-ray off. So this is an amazing vehicle in the game, but for $49.99, I just don't think it's worth it. Now, don't put me as saying, oh, this is a crappy tank, but for $49.99, I just don't see it. You do have a good cannon, which can kill most things, but I just don't think it's worth it. Because you only get research effectiveness for $50, which is really kind of stupid. You don't even get research effectiveness to the end. You get research effectiveness to basically this tier, which means you can research everything except the T80U, which is in these two over here, which is good. But in future updates, when War Thunder adds in the T90, like I'm pretty sure in the next update, they're going to add in the T90, T72S, or not S, but a modern T72. And so on, I just don't see it as being, worth it, because it's pretty much already been out researched. At the same time, it does have a decent research effectiveness of, basically 642 with a premium account. I do believe it's half of that with a normal account, so I think it'd be like 200 or 342. At the same time, it's going to have a 2.14 research effectiveness, which is really good for 7.7. But if you want to spend a little bit less money, I can give you two that are basically, in my opinion, going to be a lot more fun to play. I've played as both of these on different accounts, but let me go ahead and find it. Okay, it's not on here. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and get to the closest. I am on a console account, which is why this is like this. I'll probably get on my PC account for another Object 279 video, but I'm going to go ahead and just get the closest tank to it. So you can get basically the Tiger 2 H SLA, which will have another track right here, which will make it harder to get pinned right there, as well as I do believe you have a new modernized diesel engine. I'm pretty sure it does more than 1,000 horsepower compared to this 904, and it's going to be at 6.7. You're going to get a King Tiger for $39.99, or you could also go to the Russians, and you could get the IS-6, which doesn't look like the IS-4, but at the same time, it's basically a little bit different version of the IS-4. I wouldn't say it's better, but I wouldn't say it's worse. It has the same pin. I would just say the IS-4 is kind of a little bit more tricky, but it has worse maneuverability. IS-6 has really good maneuverability for its tier of 7.7, I believe it is. It's probably lower than that. I think it's 7.3, but I'm not 100% sure. And it's going to have a lot better armor than the Tiger, as far as it can only be pinned at the cheeks over here, as comparison to the hull or anything by stuff in its native tier, not stuff in the tier above it. And the American one, I'm just going to cover the big three mainly, is going to be the T29, which is, I would say, it's a little bit worse version of the T34 at a lower tier. You're going to get, I think it's 250 instead of 280, so you get a massive amount of penetration, a really fun tank to play. The only downside is your armor is not invincible, and when you're in an up tier, your armor is kind of dead weight. You don't fare too well against top tier tanks, because they can really, you're kind of at 7.0, you're at that tier that APFS DS is just starting to kind of get slowly introduced, and APFS DS doesn't care about armor, especially flat armor or just solid welded armor. You need composite armor, which means it's made of a variety of different metals to hold it back. So, yeah. So hopefully, in the future, I can make a video of those two. But this whole video is only possible by you guys. I decided to make a second video of this because the last video, it didn't get that good. It only got, I believe, around 15 views in the first 2 days, which is not the greatest compared to most of my videos getting 100 and so. But I'm going to try to keep this on a track. If I make 3 or 4 of these videos and I just don't hit, I'll just go back to what I've been doing. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. So I'm going to hit the quick answer. Should you buy it, yes or no? I'm not going to say no, because it's an amazing tank. Just put it this way. I'm going to give you two ways this is good for you and 2 that are bad. The 2 that are good is if you're someone who is not really a brawler. By brawler meaning that you don't just go and think you're going to bulldoze everyone like with an Object 279. You're going to kind of snipe and one-shot people from the sides. The second one is that this tank, if instead of being a player who cares about, shooting with a small cannon. You get this big 152mm that's going to wreck anything. The two bad are going to be that you don't have armor, you're a glass cannon. There's nothing you can't pin at its tier, and pretty much in the up tier. I've played with 9.3 tanks, and this thing can wreck them, so keep that in mind. But at the same time, this tank, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't pay it for it. I would pay for probably the IS-6 because it only has one less research effectivency, and you're going to have something that has armor. But not taking anything away from this guy can wreck an entire team if played properly. I've gotten 10 kills in one match of this guy, and it's a beast, especially when you're in a down tier. Just pray you'll get a down tier and you'll get one, and you'll have fun with this guy. Well, guys, that's my opinion, and my unbiased opinion about the tank, because I don't care about what nation has it. I like tanks in general. I play tank games a lot, and I just hope that you really enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps. If this video can get up to 10 likes, I will make another video talking about the Object 120, and as well as doing a more in-depth review as far as I will be putting in more than one gameplay, and I'll try to get a kill montage if I can. But guys, just thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.